I thought my father actually owned Bonnie Briar, and my mom would bring him up here at 7 in the morning. And we'd come up and pick him up at 7 at night, and he usually would be on the putting green. He wanted to die on Bonnie Briar. There used to be a big tree out there by the first hole. And he said, I always want to die underneath that tree.
Yet Sal DiBuono was not the first head pro.
I'm John Jr. This is my father, John Sr. We've been caddying here well over 25 years. A place becomes like a second home when you spend so much time there. And when I found this Bonnie Briar golf club on eBay, which says Bonnie Briar on it, I just had to have it. I had to make sure it found its way back home to Bonnie Briar. It says Archie Capper. Who is Archie Capper?
He was a Scottish pro lured to Bonnie Briar in 1923 when the future clubhouse still was an eerie, vacant shell. One of the original caddies later recalled how Archie had to remind the young bag toters not to chase balls that hooked near the bull that roamed a pasture left of the first hole. After Bill Creevy became head pro, he brought his teenage brother as an assistant. Young Tom Creevy had just won the Westchester Caddy Tournament and didn't stop winning until he captured the PGA Championship against the nation's best pros. Alas, the Creevys' tenure at Bonnie Briar was marred by issues outlined in a letter the elder brother wrote the club's board.
Owing to the fact that there have been complaints of my actions and appearance, I want to make the following promises to you. I will not drink on the club property. I will make every effort to keep from fraternizing with the members of the club in the locker room. I will refrain from having dogs around the professional shop.
Both Creevys soon were gone, and the club elevated its other young assistant to the head job.
He was born and raised in New Rochelle, New York. He was one of, nine?
Nine children.
He dropped out of school to support his family, and he started caddying at Wackigill at the age of, I would say, 17.
17?
No,
No, I'm sorry,
Nine.
nine.
Sorry.
There, he really learned to be a club maker.
Right.
And in those days, to become a professional, you had to be a club maker first.
His father, my grandfather, used to scold him, and he would always tell him in Italian, how do you think you're going to make a living hitting a ball with a stick?
Bonnie Briar hired him in 1924 to work the back room, assembling the club parts shipped in from Scotland. When they made him assistant pro the next year, a local newspaper got his name just a bit wrong. Yet, even at 17, he did know how to dress, and he understood a golf pro's place.
There was no commingling with the members. You just didn't do that.
You played with them. You had your day of golf. You come to the 18th, and he tip his hat and say goodbye, thank you. And that's where it left off. He went to the golf shop. The member went to the clubhouse. And they never associated in a dining room.
Sal was not the only one limited by club rules.
Women shall have full golf privileges, Monday to Friday inclusive. They may not play on Saturday afternoons, Sunday mornings, or any time on holidays. High-heeled shoes are not permitted on the putting greens. Ladies, please take notice.
From his first day, Sal handled gripes that would be familiar in any age: crowded weekend play, unfilled divots, and players not keeping up handicaps. Fortunately, he did not have to handle the common complaint about the dining room. Why did it never earn a profit? It was a special challenge handling the boys, carted in from local sites by the club's own caddy bus.
I remember years ago that the caddies wanted to go on strike for $1 and they got squashed.
The club was submitted a report of caddy disturbances in the caddy pen, as one guy socked another on the nose hard enough to break it. By invitation of the president, Judge Schaefer presented personally his recommendation that caddy tipping be permitted, an efficiency bonus of either 10, 20, or 30 cents per round. We propose to furnish some boxing gloves to the caddy master this year. And if there are any disputes among the boys, it is going to mean that the gloves are put on at once. Bare fistfights will not be allowed.
But Sal was a Pied Piper to the boys, and in tough times he helped them by buying any golf balls they found. One way he helped the club also through the Depression and World War II.
Your 17th, 13th, 14th, and 16th brook, every day a caddy had to go down there and retrieve the balls during the war because they were so scarce. And they got 10 cents a ball if you found the ball floating around downstream.
And they had a
machine
in the
golf
shop. And the members would come in and whatever it was, drop a quarter in. And if you got, let's say 3 cherries.
You got a ball.
You got a ball. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yet even those hard times yielded benefits.
One of the great things about Bonnie Briar is if you hang around long enough, you'll learn that Benny Goodman played here and was paid $20.
During those down days, the tennis pro was paid $1 for Saturday and Sunday plus lunch. He did arrange an exhibition, however, featuring the doubles partner of Bill Tilden. 500 people attended. During the Depression, Sal offered to do the greenskeeping job and forego his own $75 monthly salary, relying on lessons and merchandise for his income. But the club revered the veteran greenskeeper, Dominic, who was Italian, as was the veteran caddy master, Zic Turiano, who had been a caddy with Sal back in their teenage days at Waikago. All 3 top jobs on the course thus were held by Italians. You just wouldn't find an Italian name on the membership roster.
That's right.
None.
It was strictly a Scottish-Irish club. There were no Italians. I guess there was a code, sort of at most of the clubs.
And you had to be Scottish to be a member. That's how it came Bonnie Briar.
Except there was one Italian member. His name just disguised it. He'd go on to win the PGA and the Masters.